The state of California would like to remove religious exemption for childhood immunizations with SB Bill 871. Hello and welcome to Sweet Home California. My name is Jennifer, and this is one of the 10 bills that the People's Convoy is leaving Hagerstown, Maryland to travel back cross-country to California. Their plan is to arrive in California by April 10th in Los Angeles, where they're going to be speaking at a Defeat the Mandates rally that's going to be there in Los Angeles. Following the rally, the convoy is planning on going to the California State House in Sacramento to protest the 10 objectionable COVID-19 related bills that are up before a legislature and referenced in detail in the video that I talked about a few days ago. But today I am going to focus on one of those bills. Alright, so I'm trying to go deep dive into each of these bills one at a time here. So we're going to go with SB 871, which is going to add COVID-19 injection to the list of immunizations for public and private schools, regardless of FDA approval, with no personal belief exemption, also known as religious exemption, and very rare medical exemptions. So I'm going to put a link down in the description below as to how you can keep track of these bills as well. It's at leginfo.legislature.ca.gov, and then from there you can put in the search, the particular bill number, and so that's what I've done. And so this right here is the bill that we're talking about right now. Hold on, let me go ahead and make this a little wider so you can read the whole thing. Alright. So, the bill, as stated, says that they will be providing for all of the following. A, the means for the eventual achievement of total immunization of appropriate age groups against the following childhood diseases, and that includes diphtheria, hepatitis B, Haemophilus influenza type B. That's not the normal flu virus from what I was reading, that's why I had highlighted there to check on that. Measles, mumps, pertussis, which is the whooping cough, poliomyelitis, rubella, tetanus, chickenpox, COVID-19, and then here's the kicker, number 12, any other disease deemed appropriate by the department, taking into consideration the recommendations of the Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices of the United States Department of Health and Human Services, the American Academy of Pediatrics, and the American Academy of Family Physicians. B, that the persons required to be immunized be allowed to obtain immunizations from whatever medical source they so desire, subject only to the condition that the immunization be performed in accordance with the regulations of the department and that a record of the immunization is made in accordance with the regulations. There's a lot of regulations in that particular paragraph. Paragraph C, exemptions from immunization for medical reasons. And as you'll see, there is absolutely no exemption for personal belief or religious exemptions. Paragraph D, for the keeping of adequate records of immunization so that health departments, schools, and other institutions, parents or guardians, and the persons immunized will be able to ascertain that a child is fully or only partially immunized, and so that appropriate public agencies will be able to ascertain the immunization needs of groups of children in schools or other institutions. E, incentives to public health authorities to design innovative and creative programs that will promote and achieve full and timely immunizations of children. Section 2, Section 120335 of the Health and Safety Code is amended to read, Paragraph A, as used in this chapter, the quote governing authority means the governing board of each school district or the authority of each other private or public institution responsible for the operation and control of the institution, or the principal or administrator of each school or institution. Paragraph B. The governing authority shall not unconditionally admit any person as a pupil of any private or public elementary or secondary school, child care center, day nursery, nursery school, family daycare home, or development center unless prior to their first admission to that institution. And note, this shows you how they are rewriting the bill as it goes, through revisions and everything. They used to say here his or her, and they have it crossed out to right there because, of course, there's 57 genders, and to have 57 different pronouns in here would make it unwieldy. So they just changed it from his or her to their. First admission to that institution, that they have been fully immunized. The following are the diseases for which immunizations shall be documented. And it writes the same over again: diphtheria, Haemophilus, influenza type B, measles, mumps, whooping cough, poliomyelitis, rubella, tetanus, hepatitis B, chickenpox, COVID-19, and the catch-all, paragraph 12, any other disease deemed appropriate by the department, taking into consideration the recommendations of the Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices of the United States Department of Health and Human Services, the American Academy of Pediatrics, and the American Academy of Family Physicians. Now, in one of the emails that I got talking about this, it said that this was irregardless of FDA approval. And this is where they're getting that claim from, because nowhere in here does it talk about whether or not this is FDA approved. It just talks about whether or not this is recommended by these other three bodies here: the Advisory Committee on Immunizations and Practices of the United States, the American Academy of Pediatrics, and the American Academy of Family Physicians, and it does not mention the FDA. Alright, paragraph C was changed up, so I'm not going to read that. You can come back and see it if you'd like on the link I'll put below. Paragraph C is: the governing authority shall not unconditionally admit or advance any pupil to the 7th grade level of any private or public elementary or secondary school unless the pupil has been fully immunized against pertussis, including all pertussis boosters appropriate for the pupil's age. Paragraph D, the department may specify the immunizing agents that may be utilized and the manner in which the immunizations are administered. E, this section does not apply to a pupil in a home-based private school or a pupil who is enrolled in an independent study program pursuant to Article 5.5, and it mentions specifically where that is, of the Education Code, and does not receive classroom-based instruction. Note that in the paragraph a little before there, it was talking about the daycare centers and even home-based daycare centers. Which of course is going to be a huge pressure on parents who work, that if you have no alternative for where you can have a child taken care of during the day because they've essentially ruled out everything, then you're basically forced into a corner there. Again, there are some medical exemptions on there, but they do not have written into this anything about personal belief exemptions or religious exemptions. Alright, paragraph F, subparagraph 1. A pupil who, prior to January 1st, 2016, submitted a letter or affidavit on file at a private or public elementary or secondary school, child day care center, day nursery, nursery school, family day care home, or development center stating beliefs opposed to immunization shall be allowed to enroll in any private or public elementary or secondary school, child day care center, day nursery, nursery school, family day care home, or development center within the state until the pupil enrolls in the next grade span. So basically what this says is that if your child was born prior to 2016 and you did already submit a letter or affidavit attesting to a personal belief against having some of these particular immunizations, it shall be honored, but only within the age group that that child is in. So, for the purposes of this subdivision, grade span means each of the following. So, birth to preschool. So, if this particular child was born in 2015 and you said, I have this belief, so birth to preschool, that's 5 years. So, it's now 2021, your personal belief exemption is already void because your child is now in the next age group. Kindergarten through grade 1 to 6, so kindergarten all the way up to grade 6. So in that particular case, that is 7 years, right? So your child was born in, you submitted it 2015, because it has to be prior to January 1st, 2016. So that would be now 7 years later, 6 years later, 2016 to 2022, that's 6 years. Assuming that you submitted this right then, you've got 1 more year before your child is no longer eligible. At most 1 more year. That's if you submitted this when your child was in kindergarten. Their 7 years of being in this age group will be over next year. Grades 7 to 12, nobody that had an exemption in January 2016 is still in grades 7 through 12 now in 2022. So, basically, essentially, there are no more religious exemptions. Alright, paragraph 3. Except as provided in this subdivision on or after July 1st, 2016, the governing authority shall not unconditionally admit to any of these institutions specified in this subdivision for the first time or admit or advance any pupil to the 7th grade level unless the pupil has been immunized for their age as required by this section. This section does not prohibit a pupil who qualifies for an individual education program pursuant to federal law and section 56026 of the Education Code from accessing any special education and related services required by their individualized education program. Section 120338 of the Health and Safety Code is repealed. Oh, what does that say? Alright, so 120338 reads, notwithstanding sections 120325 and 120335, which we already went through, any immunizations deemed appropriate by the department pursuant to paragraph 11 of subdivision A of section 120325 or paragraph 11 of subdivision B of section 120335 may be mandated before a pupil's first admission to any private or public elementary or secondary school or child care center, day nursery, nursery school, family daycare, home, or development center, only if exemptions are allowed for both medical reasons and personal beliefs, and that was stricken, so that is no longer a part of it. Section 4, let me see, let me get this up here. So you can read that. Section 4, if the Commission on States mandates, got it, stupid thing is not working right for me. If the Commission on State mandates determines that this act contains costs mandated by the state, reimbursement to local agencies and school districts for those costs shall be made pursuant to Part 7 of the Government Code. So, these are all very, very concerning, because it's taking things out of the hands of parents, and even to a large extent the hands of medical professionals, because as I will explain in the next bill I'm going to be reviewing, dissent among the medical profession is also going to be regulated by the state. So if you are a parent and you have any concerns about this and you are in California, please make sure that you contact your representatives. As of right now, this particular bill has not been uh, scheduled for a larger vote. It's still in committee, but we need to make sure that it never sees the light of day. We've already gotten one tabled, the one that is going to be requiring the immunizations as a condition of employment. That was Bill, I think it was AB 1993. That has been tabled as of right now. I know that there are people who think that the People's Convoy had nothing to do with it, but the timing is pretty odd. I would say that they announced they're going to be coming cross country, and then the bill sponsor decides that no, they're going to go ahead and table that particular one, because it was one of the ones that was scheduled to come up for a vote rather soon. So shining the light of day on these things does have an effect, whether it's the People's Convoy or it's some other news media out there, because I have gotten another email from another organization that I'm a part of. If the politicians know that you are watching them, then they are much more likely to do what your will is if they know what that is. So I will put a link in the description down below as well as to how you can go ahead and contact your representatives at the state level here in California. If you are not in California, don't think that you are safe, because California is often used as an excuse to implement similar policies in other states. Most notably, Washington and Oregon seem to follow suit fairly soon thereafter, and things do spread from there like a cancer. Calling it California crazy. So anyhow, God bless. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Please comment, like, subscribe, and share this video with others, especially anybody that you know that is in California. And I will talk to you next time. Bye.